What's up, guys? It's Chelsea Coleman here of Dauntless Performance Horses, and today we are here with our new arrival. His name is Neon. He is an 8-year-old bashkir curly, so it's a first for us. We have not had a bashkir curly in our barn. I have ridden quite a few of them. They are super pretty. You can tell he's got very unique coloring. He's what they would consider a dun. He's got the dorsal stripe cross over his withers, and then he's got some zebra stripes on his legs. So he is not a zebra, unfortunately, but he is quite uniquely colored. Neon is owned by one of our new clients, Melissa Shoden. So we would love to welcome her to the group. Welcome to our family, Melissa and Neon. He just got here yesterday. It's quite cold here for the next few days. It's going to be quite cold. So today what we're going to do, just to get him introduced to the program and to us, we're going to set him loose in the round pen, and I'm just going to feel him out a little bit. Now, what we have noticed in the paddock, he got turned out with a group of 8, so there's 9 in the field. He is a bit studdish. He's not with any mares, but he stallion plays a little bit. He's not a mean horse. He's just a little bit protective of himself and the friend that he claims. The friend that he has claimed is Gator. So unfortunately for Dante, he now has competition. But that's all fine and good. We just are going to take note of that. It is important to pay attention to how your horses act in the pasture. That tells you a lot about who they are and what you might end up encountering when you're working with them. So let's get started.
Our champion now, Chelsea Coleman, Dauntless Courage.
All right, so I'm just going to let him loose here. Now, so the story behind this horse is he has never been ridden. So you heard right. We have an 8-year-old horse who was gelded late and has not been backed yet. Now, he was in a program where he was supposed to be being worked. We're not sure if he was being worked or not. So we're going to just treat him as if he has not been worked. Now, because he's got that little bit of play studdish tendencies, I can tell you this is going to be a horse that you have to kick to go. So he's going to be what we refer to as behind the leg, which means he's going to put minimal effort always, which we love. We love that. So we just have to teach him to sharpen up. So this is a great sign for me for the first time of him being in here. He's not overly anxious. He's not wanting to get too far away from me. And the second I take pressure off, he stops. Good boy. And we got a lick and a chew. And okay, so that's interesting. Now notice, he went to come and approach me, but he didn't take the first few steps straight on, right? He cocked his neck and he did this. So what that tells me is he wants to be very close, which is good. He obviously understands that people are safety and people are comfort. Now, this horse being a little bit playful out in the paddock, we are going to want to pay attention to that. We will establish a boundary space, meaning there is such a thing as too close. Now there, he got anxious and went to go move. And the reason why I'm sending him out is because I want to encourage the behavior of when he feels something, he reacts. Now, that's going to sound backwards, but when you have a horse that what we refer to as behind the leg, a lot of times they will internalize, they won't react, and then they explode. So we want to eliminate that immediately. He has not done that to me. I am just thinking ahead because I've had a million horses like this, right? So it's our job as trainers to use all the knowledge we have on all the horses that we've worked with and apply it to the ones we have in the future who are similar, right? So there, like I said, he was standing like right on top of me and then got anxious and went to go walk around, took 2 steps and then said, okay, well, I don't want to leave you yet. So what I said was, nope, I want to send you out, go think about it. Go move your feet. If you're anxious, I want you to move so that it doesn't continuously build up and then we have an explosion down the road. I'm going to go the other direction or attempt to go the other direction. Now, when you've got a horse like this that wants to stay close, it's totally fine to put your hand out this way. In fact, I encourage it as a boundary or a barrier, and just keep it close enough to their head until they get, good boy, far enough away that you can add that finger into point. Now, again, this is just kind of like a meet and greet. So I'm not going to send him out here and analyze the way he moves or... Go on. He's got a lovely backup. Good boy. This is me learning his brain. So I'm going to see if he'll turn left. Good boy. Yes, good boy. Go on. Good boy. So what you saw there was I added pressure and I asked something of him. And he wasn't saying, I'm completely confused, I have no idea what you want. What he was saying was, I think I know what you want, but I'm not sure. And this horse doesn't have a panic button. So as you can see, he was not offended at me in front of his face. He knows I'm not going to hit him. He's established that so far. I tapped him on the chest a couple times in the stall just to keep him from coming through the door. He wasn't offended by that. He wasn't bothered by that. He listened to that. He responded to that. So, good job. And you see that sidestep again. So, what you need to understand, this plays directly into what I just said about him being a bit skittish in the field. So stallions approach head on. When a stallion approaches another stallion, this is very interesting. I'm glad you're getting this on film. When a stallion approaches another stallion head on, it's a fight. So that's a submission technique. He's saying, I'm coming to you. I'm nervous because I don't know what this is. So he's trying to make eye contact with me. But because that's a defensive position and he doesn't know me, he doesn't know if I'm a stallion that's going to try and take everything from him, right, or fight him. So what he's doing is he's saying, I'm coming to you for advice, but I'm submitting, so don't take this wrong. Which is a very, very interesting thing to be able to show. You don't get to be able to show that often because there's not a ton of horses that we see in the sport horse world that were cut late and have a little bit of a skittish tendency, especially ones that are this kind and quiet. Now that's another common misconception about studs or teasers. Not all of them are in your face, loud bullies. A lot of them are the Seabiscuit type that like to, sunbathe under a tree for 5 hours a day laying down, right? So I would venture to say this horse will probably be that one day. Out in the field, he came from small area, not a lot of grass, and he went out into a paddock that's probably 10 to 12 acres with a bunch of friends and a ton of grass. So those are things that are going to be overstimulation for him, and it's going to take him a little while to adjust as far as the herd mentality goes. Right now, he's very overstimulated outside. So this is also good for me to see from that point of view. Key things here that we're going to note today and keep track of throughout his journey. One, he's very behind the leg, right? There's not a lot that makes this horse say, I need to get up and get out of here. Two, he is aware of respect and doesn't want to cross that boundary. So he doesn't ever want to give me the impression that he's going to bully me out of my position, which is what that sideways step is, right? So, and he's joining up with me, right? So he's partnered with me here, and this is him, that side step to turn, that's him wanting to turn to give me his eye, right there. Good boy. That's a domestication respect thing, right? So to a horse, this is disrespectful. To a human, this is respect, right? But if you see there, he's recognizing me as his leader already, and he doesn't want to stand head on with me. That's not because he doesn't respect me as a person. It's because he respects me as his confidant, like the person that's going to keep him safe and in control. So when he's thinking of outward things and he just physically reacts, that's the reaction we get. When he pays attention and he says, hey, I want to give Chelsea my eye, that's when you're going to see that head-on approach. Now, it'll be interesting to see in the future, does that change? Does he always give us that side step, or does he start to spin, turn, and stop head-on? So I'm going to send him out one more time and see how we get that join up again. And we'll send you this way. Good. I think this is a adorable little horse. I love this little horse. You want to go that way? I don't care. Pick a direction. I love this little horse. Now, because he offered to stop himself there, I'm going to make him... Good boy. Yeah, good boy. Good job. So if you've got a horse that gives you that, it's important not to add a lot of pressure when you get that side step, because he can't see you head on. He can't see everything that you're doing. You only have one side of his eye. So when you see that, if you noticed, I stopped and I let him get to me before I reached my hand out to touch. I also am not going to ever push him out to make him reapproach to straighten himself up, because that's a security thing within himself. And honestly, this is a unpopular opinion, but I have horses that won't stop head on, head to head. They'll only stop and turn in when your back's to them. I have horses that will only stop head on. Dante will only stop and come to you if he makes direct eye contact. A join up is a join up, right? That's going to look like 30 different things. Just like you might have an introvert come and sit down at a table very quietly. Or you might have an extrovert come and before they get 10 feet from the table, they're like, hey guys, coming to sit down. And then you might have someone who's an introverted extrovert that walks up and goes, hey, what's up guys, and takes a seat. They're all sitting down at a table and greeting their friends, but they do it in different ways, right? So that's what that is. To me, that's what the join up is. The join up is, hey, I'm going to come spend some time with you. So I don't care whether he sidesteps to me. I don't care whether he quarters away. The only thing I don't want is him running backwards at me, but I've seen a lot of things and I've never seen that happen. So not as a join up at least. So keep that in mind. It's all going to look different, and that's okay. It's not wrong if it doesn't look the way the magazine says it's supposed to look. So that's still correct. Now this horse is giving me every ounce of attention. When I move, he moves. He's not overly in my space. He's paying attention to his other surroundings still, but he's also got a very close eye on me. If I move, he moves. And if I can stand here and there, yep, good boy. So there, he'll move off of my pressure, but then he's thinking, right? So that's what that was. I went to go spin around, and instead of him just turning in circles, he activated his brain and said, oh, she's coming back around. I'm just going to turn this way. So those are little things that you can do, especially in a first introduction, like your meet and greet, as we'll call it, to get to know how their brain works. This horse is very smart, and that's why you're not seeing a lot of exuberant behavior, because he's very intelligent. Now, that means he's an introverted extrovert. So this horse out in the paddock runs and plays, and his mom came later yesterday after she dropped him off. She yelled his name. He grabbed a big mouthful of grass and ran straight to her, right? He's very smart. He's playful. He's active. But he's not going to go out of his way to use up all of his energy, because he might need it later. So that's another thing we will try and work on. I don't want to change who he is, but I want to be able to give him the opportunity to know that he doesn't have to keep himself safe. I'll do that for him. See if he'll give me the same thing this way. And every horse has a direction, just like us, right? There will be right brain, left brain, not in the Pirelli sense, but in they prefer the right side of their body over the left side of their body. Now, he's a little bit more protective over the left versus the right. As you can see here, he's not willing to give up his left eye. He's only willing to give up his right. So it's likely something, maybe he saw something on the left side of his body and he wants to keep me on the right side. Or it could potentially be that because he's a horse, he's used to people leading him on the left, and so he's not used to not seeing someone on his left. So now he's like, ooh, what's over here? All of those things are very common. If he hadn't been worked with much, this horse is going to be intrigued by human interaction. And by human interaction, I don't mean like, hey, how's it going, bud? I mean like, go to work, right? He's never been saddled and he's 8 years old. So there's a lot of work to be done because his brain is matured. It's matured in a different way than it would on a 2-year-old that you've pulled from the paddock and start riding. So that's all we've got for you today. Again, this was just a little intro sesh for me to get to know him to get to know me, and to be able to see how his brain works. All right, guys, that's it for today. Don't forget, doesn't matter where you come from, only matters where you're going, and we'll see you next time.